Hey everyone, this is Dean with DCA Crypto. Today I'm going to cover two sister projects for you, Moonbeam and Moonriver, and just kind of compare a little bit of the difference between the two. They are kind of sister projects. They're both founded by the Moonbeam project, and we'll get into the details a little bit on each of them. The one of them is on the Polkadot chain, the other one is on Kusama, and one's kind of like a test net and main net. So let's jump into it. All right, Moonbeam currently around 23 cents, and if you look at the market cap on this one, it's only at 154 million. Circulating supply is about 60% of the total supply right now, a little bit more, about 66% of it. And if we go to the trading view here, we're hit about $1 billion market cap back in May of 2022. And back right after it first launched. Now, if you look at the price between it, it was actually hit like $13 when it first launched, and then even though the market cap was the same here in May, the price dropped down. It was like it only hit like $5, and that's because the circulating supply must have been more than double of what it was when it first launched. So that's why, I mean, you got to take into consideration market cap and not price history so much. I look at market cap history. That's really important. Now, I'm not sure what the total supply or what the circulating supply was back in May of 2022, but if we use the market cap, it hit a billion when it first launched, and that wasn't even in the bull market. So I would think that to hit a billion on this again would be fairly easy in the next bull run. I'm thinking it's going to probably do a lot better than that. So if we look at the current market cap of like 154 million, if it did 1.5 billion, that would be a 10x from here. Now, with this one, this token does have some inflation. They're doing like a 5% per year, so that is going to impact the price. There's going to be quite a few more tokens in circulation between now and the peak of the bull run when people are going to want to be selling this, so it is going to impact the price some. But I'll get into that a little bit more. I want to cover a little bit more detail on the project before I get into price predictions. Moonriver is kind of like the sister project for this one on Kusama. It's like the test net that people and all the devs can test their products and services on the Moonriver network on Kusama before fully launching them on Moonbeam. And Moonriver, I believe it actually launched first. And if you look at the history on this one, the market cap on it hit 800 million back in the peak of the last bull run. It launched right towards the end of the last bull run. And I know it's been in development since before that, but the actual token launch and getting on the market was later on. So the market cap on this one is only 35 million. I think maybe because it's more of the testnet project and not the main net. So 800 million in the peak of the last bull run. I think it could do this again easily. I think because it launched towards the end of the last bull run, right towards the peak of it, that it didn't really get a full run per se. It wasn't a fully launched product or anything. So I think it's going to probably beat this $800 million market cap in the next bull run, in my opinion, and could do, up to, maybe 5 billion or so on it. But circulating supply on this one is about 70% of the current, just under 70% of the current total supply. But there's a lot more fuel. Like this only has 10 million tokens for the total supply. I'm not sure what the max supply on this one is, but being at $5, if we look at the history here, go back to 180 days, the market cap was down a little bit above where it's at now, but where the market cap's at now is actually the lowest it's been since pretty much since launch. So it's really a good time to start accumulating both of these. Same with Moonbeam. Its market cap is currently the lowest it's been since launch. So really this has been like the bottom of these two tokens. Now the price could come down more, being that there's going to be more in circulation, but they do have a burn mechanism, and it burns like 80% of the transaction fee, so it helps with the inflation a little bit, and I'll kind of explain what the inflation is. But what are these two networks? I don't want to get into too much detail and make this video too long. A lot of you already know a lot about both of these, so I'm not going to get too detailed into it. But Moonbeam delivers complete Ethereum compatibility within the Polkadot parachain environment, so developers can continue to use programming languages and tools they've grown used to. It also is compatible to Substrate and Polkadot ecosystem, including block explorers, wallets, parachains, and more, allowing users the flexibility to choose the right tools and services for the job. And then you get into the GLMR token here, and Moonriver pretty much is like the test net, so people can use this Moonriver network, and that's on the Kusama parachain. It's the utility token of the Moonriver network. MOVR is Moonbeam's Kusama deployment serves as a canary net to the Moonbeam network, such as token utility behaviors on the Moonriver mirror that of Moonbeam. So basically, like I said before, the devs can fully test out like on an actual working network, just like a mainnet on this Moonriver before using it on the Moonbeam network. So it's really a nice thing, and it gives utility to both tokens for use of that. The Glimmer token here, it's got a 5% uncapped supply annual inflation rate. Genesis token supply of 1 billion. And like I said, this is on Kusama. Transaction fees, 80% are burned and 20 go to the treasury. The Glimmer token utility, gas metering protocol, on-chain governance, network transactions. As a decentralized smart contract platform, Moonbeam requires the Glimmer token to function. This token is central to the design of Moonbeam, cannot be removed without sacrificing essential functionality. And I like the fact that this is pretty decentralized and kind of hopefully protected against the regulation from the SEC for being a security. I guess it depends on how decentralized this is and what their definitions end up falling under. But like I said before, a lot of these tokens that are used as utility tokens, I don't see how they can classify them as securities, because that pretty much make the network just about useless if they're a security. So I think they're going to have to make some ruling around that. But it facilitates on-chain governance mechanisms and pays for transaction fees on the network, and incentivize collators, empowering the mechanics around the creation of the decentralized node infrastructure on which a platform can run. And here they got the token allocation. They had this seed funding, strategic funding. The pink here, 10% of it went to founders and early employees. The light pink went to future employee. It's going to future employee incentives. If we go to the bigger chunks here, they've got some treasuries like 3% here. It looks like that's a bond funding. Bond reserve, treasuries only like 0.5%. Ecosystem development, that's good. They got 16% going to that. 5% for liquidity programs, probably for staking, developer adoption process. This 15% here is going to Moonbeam crowd loan, and 9.8% for flight community event, 12% for strategic funding, 14% for seed funding. And so basically they're trying to get this where the tokens are continually feeding this network and keeping it operational and supporting the network. So that's good. And I don't think they have too much allocation to the team or anything like that. It's pretty standard to have like a 10% allocation for most of that. And they go into detail here if you want to read this on what each of these are for. Moonriver is an incentivized testnet and enables developers to create, test, and adjust their protocols prior to the official launch on Moonbeam. And what is Moonbeam? It's built to provide interoperability with the Ethereum ecosystem. It operates as a layer 1 chain that is capable of executing EVM instances on the Polkadot chain. The protocol improves developer options with built-in integrations. The network supports ERC20 standard and the DOT protocol. So it supports everything that's basically on the Ethereum network without all of the fees and without having to recode all of your stuff to use it on the network. So it kind of simplifies the process for devs to use the network and use, like it says here, Ethereum is the largest ecosystem in the world. However, due to network congestion, the network has record high gas fees at this time, which is true. They're absolutely ridiculous at times. These fees have led developers to seek more scalable alternatives, and Polkadot is the parachain for that alternative, and this runs on the Polkadot network as one of those solutions. So what problems does Moonbeam solve? Simplifies multiple problems on the Polkadot network and streamlines the process of migrating protocols to the network. It's built to be flexible, supports multiple coding languages. Specifically, you can use Solidity, Viper, and anything that compiles to EVM bytecode. Moonriver, what does it solve? Developers can verify their solutions function as intended, and users can gain early access to the new system while they're still in testing. The eventual goal of these protocols is to make it to the Polkadot environment. As such, both networks share a very similar code base. I think that both of these have good utility, and there's a good use for them. I think possibly Moonbeam will probably do better. The GLMR token, I think, will do a little better in the bull run, possibly because it is the mainnet token. But the nice thing about MOVR token is the market cap is like less than a third, it's like a fourth of the Moonbeam token. So even though I think Moonbeam will probably reach a higher market cap, MOVR has like a fourth of the market cap currently. So even if it only gets to a fourth of what Moonbeam does, it'll essentially do just as well. So that's kind of where I'm at with these two. Now, as far as price predictions, I think Moonbeam, we do have to consider that there is going to be more tokens in some inflation and more tokens in the circulating supply. But I would estimate the market cap of this one to get somewhere between 4 billion and 10 billion in the next bull run. Some people are predicting it to get possibly up to 20 billion, and that is very possible based on what some of the other layer 2 projects have done in their first bull run. But I'm going to try to safely say somewhere between 4 to 10 billion. And if we look at the circulating supply on this, if it did like a 4 billion market cap, if it's saying it would get to a 25x, I would say more around like a 15x or so with the token inflation. And so if we did like a 15 times the current price of 23 cents, it's going to be about $3.45. So I would say somewhere between $3.50 and $4 on the low end for this token, up to like $10. So that's just kind of my guess of where it's at. So, and you know, the total supply being around 1 billion, you can kind of calculate that out easily in your head. So if it get to like a 4 billion market cap, it's going to be close to $4. So just kind of keep that in mind. So I think it'll do really well. I think it's an easy 20x, in the next bull run. And I would start cashing out. Like I said, my plan is always try to cash some of these out at a 10x. These smaller market caps, at least like 20% of your portfolio for that token at a 10x. So you get double your initial investment back, and then you're just riding on the other 80%. That's all profit. So you can kind of decide what you want to do at that point without any risk, and just kind of take it out in chunks. But for me, this one, depending on what the circulating supply ends up being, I would probably start taking some of mine out around $2.50, and then in chunks up from there just to be safe. And then the Moonriver, currently at $5. This one has about 70% of its circulating supply. I'm not sure on this one how much is going to be in supply by 2025. But even if it was at total supply, I could easily see in this one, if it's only at 35, let's say this got up to $3.5 billion market cap, that would, because it already hit, if we look at the history here, it already hit 800 million. I think it's going to probably 4x that, which would be like 3.2 billion. So that's almost a 10x from where it's at now, or sorry, almost 100x from where it's at now. But if we just went with the 800 million and, or let's say it got up to 1 billion, if we went up to 1 billion and divided that by 35 million, that's a 28x. So even if it got up to its previous market cap, it's a 28x from the current market cap. So you could potentially see more upside to the MOVR token. And like I said, I'm going to have both of these in my portfolio, just trying to accumulate certain tokens at a time. Now that these are in this price range here, where they're kind of at the lowest they've been since they've been launched, it's a good time to be picking up both of these. So I'll probably start adding some more of these to my bag. But like I said, these are still, even though I think they're going to do really well because they're such a low market cap, I consider them a higher risk, so I don't put a large percent of my portfolio into them. Some people want to go all in on these, and I think these are pretty safe ones to do that, but I just don't do that. I never go all in on one token completely that's a lower market cap. I try to keep, these lower market caps, I try to keep them where they're like, 1 to 5% of my portfolio. I try to keep the small caps less than 10% of my portfolio, if at all possible. And that's just kind of my, the way I want to have my portfolio to be more safe. I understand that the returns on them could easily be higher, but anything that's a lower market cap to me is considered high risk, so I don't put as much in my portfolio. But I'd love to hear from you guys. I know some of the people that watch my videos do have these in their portfolio. I'd love to hear that, if you do have them in your portfolio or not, in the comments below. I'd love to hear your price predictions. I haven't heard a lot of price predictions on these two. I know for like Moonbeam, I think some people were predicting between $4 and $25. So that's quite a range. I think they were talking about if it really blew up to hit like the $20 to $25 price range. But realistically, I could see it doing $3 to $5 up to $10. But I'd love to hear from you guys what you think it's going to do in the next bull run. Is also the Moonriver token, if you're carrying that one, and what you think. If you think one of the other is better to have in your portfolio. But I plan on personally having both, just to be sure. I think they're both going to do well. And I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my videos and hit that notification bell so you get future notifications. And I try to get videos out daily to you guys. So far, I've been able to do that. Hopefully, I'll be able to continue to get them out daily. My work hasn't been too crazy lately, so I've been able to get them out daily. But hopefully, I'll be able to keep up with that and try to cover all different tokens for you guys. But this video is probably longer than it should be already. I don't want to keep rambling on, but I appreciate it. And if you could like this video, that helps out the algorithm. And we will see you guys on the next video. Thanks. Tell me what you